Alright, YouTube, what is up? It's Dubs. We're back again. It's part 4. Hopefully, we can kind of finish this up so we can move on to custom models after this. So, basically, it kind of showed you some of the issues there about overlaying trains. So, next thing you'll want to do, basically, then is, let's see, we went over overlay. We did trucks. We'll do water here in a minute. Plants, models, material, geometry. I think I'm actually going to go ahead and finish making all the roads really quick for y'all. So I'm going to do that by just I think we'll have a road up here. And I don't really try to, you know, making this super accurate, you know. I'm just trying to give y'all an ideal kind of on how to do these things. It's not like 100%, so but I'll mess that up. So I'll try to draw these back in here. Don't ever go too close to this. So like if I was making a road back here, it's gonna be kind of wide through there, whatever. I'll try to hover like right around in here, even if it means going up on the side of this mountain. I can fix geometry. But I'm just trying to make a road down through here. Make some down through here like this. Connecting road there. This one can go like down through here. You know, you can be more methodical about placing your road system too. I'm just kind of throwing something together for y'all right now, so y'all hang in there with me. This is what I was talking about too, as well, why this can be a crazy hard task sometimes, man, on this stuff. Is trying to get all this, you know, filled in with, you know, the proper scenery and the trails and what it looks like, and you know what all is what, you know. And I like to give people a lot of trails to go off of too, by the way. You don't have to, but I'll give you a bunch of options to do stuff. So we'll just do one more like this. Look. And once again, like I said, I'll rebuild the train, make sure that it's got it saved everywhere. Oh, this happens. You see this? This is not responding. Don't ever worry about that. Just let the thing sit. It's thinking, basically. So really, just let it think itself out. So, and you can see this is starting to actually shape into a level now. We don't just have a flat map anymore. We actually have like a road system, and it's starting to look like something, you know. Now the roads are going to be flat right now, unless you like come back over in here. Like these roads look actually decent. Like this is like how you want a road to look. And that is because I've taken the train and I've elevated it here. So, you know, you want to kind of keep it realistic as you can. Threw in some roads everywhere. Let's do... Heck, let's do a river. We haven't done a river yet, so let me explain water, because water's kind of funky on the game. It can have some issues. And I like to do stuff where when you spawn into the game, like you see something cool, like a cool feature or something. So, and I would have really raised the terrain before I did this to this, or made this area here. Because this is flat right now, but the game understands that I can go below this box here. It's not a lot, but I can dip the ground in some, and I'm going to here because I want to show y'all this. So I can actually go underneath this terrain level, this floor. I can push the dirt down so we can make a pond here. And that's what I'm doing. And this is going to be pretty deep, by the way. Like I said, 5 is, yeah, that's a deep pond. 5 is typically the depth, the standard, like, middle ground, and anything below that is, you know, considering going below. So like this 2.9 is pretty deep. If I want something like a shallow river that you can drive in, I would go and suggest like this 4. Right around like 4.1 to 4.5 will make like a nice, just shallow river for you, honestly. And that's what I'm doing right here, by the way. If I wanted a bigger river, I could make a bigger size section of brush stroke. But it's actually pretty decent sized river. So, and I want to run this river. It's going to actually come right around here, and then it's going to butt up to this little hill section right here. Oh yeah. And then we'll let you drive down the river a little bit right here. So, yeah, looking good. And we'll just keep it coming on through here. And it looks like I kind of raised the land up here some. So, I'm going to make sure I really dip it down to hold that water. That should be fine. And then we're just going to drain it on out through here, basically. So, and this, there's a certain point too I wanted to point out. Is that a, I thought that was a rip. I was hoping I got to show y'all a rip in the terrain. So that's basically how I start to form my river. And yeah, this is pretty. So I need to kind of flatten this up actually. So this is how I flatten. Make a larger section. Flatten all this out so that it's even. And it actually can make my pond down here. Yeah, that's way better. So And I may actually go through and just do a quick flatten on this whole river bank that I did and where I put it. So just kind of give it a little smooth out. It doesn't have to be exact, by the way. So, and then I'm going to rebuild terrain, like I always do. Where are we at on this? 10 minutes already? Okay, cool. And I'm going to save. And we're going to add a river by adding river. Like I said, always is the left is 0. And 1 is always the other point, which way the water flows. I'm going to kind of station this right here. So, a little bit about rivers. If you notice that if I come up, it will literally make a sheet of water. If I come down, it will actually go into the ground and hide into the ground. So you want to make it as realistic as possible usually. So this is controlling the height of the water depth. So this will raise your water up and down depending. If I just want it to disappear, just raise it below the ground. So and it cannot be below a certain point in the terrain. It will cause an error. So there's like a maximum and a minimum that it'll let you like put the water. So I'm going to click off of this, and you're going to notice that it's really weird looking water. It's all jaggedy edged and like just not meeting up right and looking right. So the problem is that one, it's not wide enough for the terrain area that I have. So I really need to widen it. So to do that, you have to click on this little white dot and hold your finger on the left mouse button and push up or down to shrink it. So I need it to be wider. So I'm going to widen it out. And it's looking like it's still not enough. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my water. I'm going to widen this one out a little bit more so that we cover all the edges of it. And it looks like that'll cover that, and I still got some more areas that I'm missing. There we go. Oh, still missing some. There we go. There's the area. And now you can see that I kind of got an outline of that whole little deal. I'm going to kind of position it there. I want to hit add after. And if I need to make it wider, now I just need to dip it down, is what y'all notice. And what I did was I added a point after that, and then I could stretch this out, but you want to be careful because if you're going down like a hill or like making a like a section, you want to kind of like bend it, but what it does is it bends like this. It'll put a bend in like the water. You see that bend that it creates? So you'll want to kind of bend down like I'm making a waterfall. You'll want to bend it down more. But that also lowers the level of the water, so you also want to keep it like flat as you can. So, and then I'm just going to hit an add after because I need to start making this bend. And then also you'll notice too, you don't ever want to overextend it like this. It'll mess up your river, so don't ever do that. But I'm just going to kind of make this curve here. And I'm also going to start shrinking my river some, size-wise, so that I can start making it into this ditch. I'm just going to do an add after. And I'm going to shrink it way down, over, raise up the water level a little bit. I'm going to hit add after. I'm not seeing where I made this, so I'm just going to continue to hit add after. Yep, right in there somewhere. Add after. Just shrinking that down. Add after. That. Add after. And you can see right here I gotta go over a little bit. We're gonna do add after. Get it on around here. Gonna raise it up. Here's a good issue that I'm gonna get to show y'all too. Cool. Add after. You are gonna see it happen right now too. Since the terrain difference is different here, you're gonna notice this like water here is like all out of whack, and it's like a hovering above the ground. And you could fix it by lowering this, but what you're going to do is you're going to create a hole in here where you don't want a hole to drain. So, and I'm just going to continue this on out real quick. Make 11 higher. Yep. And 12 higher. And I typically let my map just kind of, the water just kind of run off my map over here. So, and then when I click off, you're going to notice that there's some issues. That can be usually solved really quickly by just clicking back on geometry, raising it up, and picking a height, and just raise the train up so that this water just disappears really quickly. And it can be hid too. You can kind of push it on back. But here we need it to flow out, so I'm going to just get it to flow out that way. Go. It's right there. And we notice that over here is kind of messed up, so come back, heighten this up. It's all this little area. You can spend hours, man, messing with this stuff. But basically that got us a river. But you're like, ah, it doesn't look really cool. So you got some options on the rivers itself. You can change the color of them. Typically, I don't like blue unless you're making an ocean. But I'll go with, I don't know. I like dark usually. Mud type, not necessarily a big deal. Blue is cool. It kind of makes it like a bluish, darkish color. Bluer in deep spots. But anyway, only looking on time. 18 minutes. Great. Next, we'll talk about this water. And this is what I was telling you earlier in one of the other videos. You got your water. This is the speed of the water. So basically, if I set this to the speed, this is how the water is going to flow. And it flows from 0 down the number chain, basically. So I want to add some speed in here. Ooh. And that's going to be huge speed, so I'm going to take it away. Good speed, I would say, is about like 70 something. That's still pretty fast. But you just kind of add it where you want the river to flow. Like so. And bam. The next thing you need to probably add is foam. Gives it a more realistic look, I feel like. Sometimes I'll add a little foam in here. Ooh. And I don't like to add as much foam. Like I like a lighter foam. Because if you add too much, it just makes it look weird. And that's probably going to be a little bit too much, but 69, yeah, it's going to be pretty good foam. Typically, like 60 is a good foam. The darker green, the more foam it's got, basically. And what you're going to see is if I come in here, this is going to be a good spot probably to look at. When I click off of this, it's going to add all your cool foam features. So, and the flow. You'll see the flow of the river and where I kind of foamed it. So, you can see on the lake here, it's going to kind of be just like bubbling. And that's the reason why I don't add like some in the lakes usually. I just kind of let the sun like kind of do a ripple on the water, more or less. So I don't really add foam in my lakes, but like where the river starts, like where you feel like it should drain from, is definitely how you want to add your foam. So you always want to try to keep it realistic too. So this water over here is probably going to be less harder to drive through, or more harder to drive through than this water over here, because it's pretty shallow. Got this water pretty shallow. So just be careful with your geometry, honestly. And a good way for me to check water too usually is I will come in here and I will just say add truck. And I will literally move the truck around to see. Okay, it's going to get up to the windshield right there, you know. And this is a pretty tall truck. It's one of the Russian like model trucks, like first trucks. So it's a pretty dang tall truck. So be careful also too judging this. But you can kind of move him around, see how he looks on the map to go through the water. Hey, this is going to be a good little crossing. So that's kind of what it would look like, you know, driving a truck. And then what I usually do is I don't want it, I delete it. So, and we added all this water and everything, like I said before. Always do a rebuild terrain. And I do a save. Okay. Next, we're going to revisit, I guess, geometry one more time, really. So typically on these roads that I was talking about, there's two ways you can do the overlay, which is the overlay puts in this geometry for you. It kind of like dips down in the right areas, but it doesn't still look right to me. And that's because you just need to really just like add some geometry to this area. And I need to make it smaller so that it looks more realistic. So, and what this is going to do is it's going to add in some like bumps to the road so that I can kind of create like some more like factors about driving through the land, you know. And you'll want to create like little washes and stuff. Because there is like washes in like real life. So like a washout like this, like you'll want to do like a little washout, you know, and give your drivers that washout type feel, something like that, maybe. And then what I also will do is, while I'm in geometry mode, I will go ahead and throw this up to the 3 size, and I will just go through my roads. and run them down with a 3 to 2 lowering depth, and you'll see why here in just a second. So I'm going to run through all these little paths real quick. Oh, messed up. Geometry. I'll run through all these little paths, man. Just up through there, up through there. Do these real quick. I'm not trying to be super accurate, but anything I can see right now. Just going to go through and run all these little trails. Typically you'd be way more accurate, and then you would do these also as you go along. But what I'm doing is I'm creating a realistic trail, more or less, is what I'm doing here. So you'll see. I'm done. And like I said, try to be more accurate than what I'm being, but I'm trying to hurry for time's sake. And then too, I've also had some practice with this, so kind of used to working the tool. Kind of reminds me of paint back in the day. And you see that error that I'm getting, like you see it's dragging these lines, like that's really going to be dragged through my map too, so you'll want to kind of take your time and not let the editor like think you're dragging it across the map like I just did, because it's going to create a hole through there, and it's going to be like a little gully going through there in the map. So and that's just the game's weird glitch that it like tries to connect all those things for some reason. Don't know why, but it does. So let's do this one. Around my garage I try to keep it flat as I can, but I'll do a little bit. But what I wanted to really show you, see it kind of like digs out the trails, and it kind of gives you like an actual road to drive, and it gives you like a more realistic look. Where are we at on time? Got 2 minutes left. So the last thing then. I think I'll make one more video. It'll be a 5-part video on the editor itself. I just rebuilt the train, so I'm going to go ahead and save. I'm going to cover plants. Actually, I can cover plants right now. Cool. Before we get out of here. These are all your plants, basically. You know, small rocks, big rocks, pumpkin, mushroom. You know, a couple of different things, stumps, different things like that. I do a lot of pine trees and firs and stuff like that, depending on like the area that I'm working on, like the mountains or whatever. If you're making like a swamp map, you want to keep more of like a birch tree or something like that, canes, something. That's more of swampy. Pines like your mountains and stuff like that. Small trees is just small trees, spruce, whatever. But these are individual like plants. So like these canes, it gives you a little bitty cane, and you have to like kind of go and like place it, right? And then I could duplicate this, and I could duplicate it again, and again, and again, right? But that would take forever. Don't do that to try to fill in something. That's what distributions are for. Is to fill in all these big gaps with these plants. This is to fill in where the distributions fail to satisfy you, basically. So like distributions sometimes are a little too weak, I feel like, and like the cover of plants. So I'll add in more plants like this, especially if I want a tree that goes in a specific position. This is the best way to put it in the game. So like pine C here. It's a big pine. You can kind of place it like where you want it. And like if I wanted it in the water, I could. Distributions won't come up in the water. Distributions won't, cover as densely. Like I can literally just duplicate this guy a million times over in like one little spot and like just densify the place, but or create some kind of specific scenery. Like I got like something specific here that I want to highlight. That's what plants are for. It's not meant for you to like cover the whole. This is how you cover your whole map. That would take you forever. So don't do that. That's distributions, but plants are supplemental items. So, and this map's starting to come together a little bit. I still see some more errors like this. Like we could fix this with geometry. So you see where it's kind of messed up here. Turn this up real quick, and I'm gonna end this after this. So let's fix all this. Gonna make the road go up. Make this a little more taller. Something like that. Bam. So, anyway, you can spend all day messing with it, but we're going to rebuild terrain real quick, and we're going to save. We're going to stop here for the last video, and then hopefully I can move on into covering custom models for y'all.